When these children enter kindergarten, they're going to be ready to learn. Not only are they going to be ready to learn, some of them are going to be reading. We hope that most of them will be. We are excited. And we hope that as you tour the library, the Martin Luther King Jr. Library, that you are going to feel as excited as we are, and that you will continue working with us. You will receive, if you have not gotten it already, you will receive Hello, My Name Is. I need you to put that sticker on, but most of all, I need your email address at the bottom. There is a method to my madness. And we will be contacting you through that email. We are hyped. And now I'd like to introduce the president of our board who has come, Mr. McLeod, Mr. James McLeod. He is the president of the ECCI, Educational Consultants Consortium Board. Mr. James McLeod. You're gonna kill me, aren't you?
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. I'm just happy to be here this morning, and I thank everybody for coming out. We really appreciate and love you on this Martin Luther King holiday. And everything we do at ECCI is for the children. The children was a big part of Martin's life. He grieved with the rest of the nation during the Birmingham incident, the bombing. Martin grieved as we all did, and our children have always been at the forefront of everything that we do. That's our culture. Children are looked after, and it's been said that you can tell the condition of a civilization by how they treat their children and their old people. And I must say that we must put children, these youth, at the forefront, because they are our future. And it's not just a euphemism or just a cute thing to say, but it's literal. And Ms. Harvey has been just a stalwart, and the people that have supported her and worked for her have really put children at the forefront of their lives. I've, I guess, gone over half my life now, and there's nothing more important to me today than to leave some sort of legacy, some sort of path, some guidance to the young people. That's a great responsibility, but it's a great joy. And we just challenge all of you here to help us as we dedicate this library, that we grow this library. One thing I've learned in my life is that education is a treasure. As long as these children are in the written word, they will be just fine. Education is the foundation that Ms. Harvey is building for these children. And thank you all for your support. I apologize for being late. I'm hoping that Minister Holly hasn't prayed yet. I didn't miss the prayer, did I? Okay. Okay, we'll have Minister Holly, if he would, please bless us with a prayer. Thank you.
Good morning. Before we pray, I just want to congratulate ECC and Ms. Harvey and the team for working so diligently over the last year and especially over the time to bring these services into this community. They're sorely needed, and your support is sorely needed. At Pathways, we make it a point to support all of the missions here at ECC. And I would encourage you to do likewise. The scriptures teach us that we should train up a child in the way that they should go. And when they're older, they won't depart from the way. That is one of the critical things that we need to keep in mind. It's our responsibility to train them up. And part of that, of course, is reading, because we also told that for lack of knowledge, people perish. So we want to encourage each of you to help with this library and to do that which is good and right in the sight of God. Let us pray. Eternal God, we come before your throne in this hour, giving thanks, first of all, for these servants you've placed here on this mission to serve these, our children, to encourage them through example and through teaching. We ask you to touch these hearts and minds in the community, that they all may rally around this outstanding effort and cause our children to have the materials necessary to do your will. We know that you are the provider of all things, Lord, but without you, we can do nothing. So we just thank you. We ask you to bless the leadership team here, to bless each and every one of the servants and the workers and all those who have committed themselves to training up these children in the way that they should go. We just give you thanks, praise, and honor this day and ask you to be with us as we go forth. Let all that we do and say be pleasing in thy sight. In the name of your Son, Jesus the Christ of Nazareth, we pray. Amen.
I'm next going to announce one of our founding members of this wonderful organization, who herself is a longtime educator in the community and just can't stay out of the classroom, I guess. Miss Doretha Pratt.
The program Iron Sharpening Iron, under the umbrella of ECC, goals are to improve the academic performance, to build character and self-esteem, to persuade every child to remain crime and drug-free, finish high school, and pursue a career before parenting a child. To achieve these goals, ECCI provides tutoring in reading, math, and science, activities in drug and violence prevention, activities in classes in personal hygiene and pregnancy prevention, summer job training and skills development, technology, character education, and motivational programs, as well as we visit higher institutions of higher learning. This program has been very successful. We have dreamed of a library at the Annie E. Gayle Center for many years. Today, this dream is becoming a reality. There are representatives of these organizations that have made this dream possible. The Manatee County School Board, the Manatee County Library, Early Learning Coalition, Mr. Rodney Jones, Martin Luther King Manatee Grants Director. Other organizations that have made this dream possible are United Way, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Pathway Christian Fellowship, East Palmetto Church of Christ, Lightway Ministries, Metro Assembly of Retired Teachers, and Attorney Jeffrey Hogan. We believe if a student enjoys reading, it will encourage them to achieve academically, as well as broaden their imagination and their horizon. A special thank you to Mrs. Harvey, board members. If board members are here, would you please stand and be recognized? Board members of ECCI and the coordinators that work directly with these students. We encourage parents to bring your little ones here. We encourage you, the community, to come and read to the children. After these children have been read with the book, they will be encouraged to take a book home. Again, thank you for your presence and welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Pratt. It's my pleasure next to introduce a young lady. Her name is Evelyn James. She goes to Gullet Elementary. She's in the 4th grade. And this is going to be a favorite of mine because I remember learning to read Ms. Harvey's class. It was Run, Jerry, Run, See, Jerry, Run. And from there, I think I learned a little Latin, I don't know, but reading for me is very special because growing up in Palmetto, I could read about people and places that I couldn't even imagine. And it was very exciting to me. I could travel the world in books, I guess even digitally, it doesn't matter as long as you read. The research has shown that children, the earlier they start reading or even being read to, they perform better in school. So this library is very exciting. Now, Miss Evelyn James, please come forward and let's hear this beautiful, beautiful bit of prose you have. Thank you.
Good morning, community friends. My name is Evelyn James. Before I was a 4th grader at Gullet, I volunteered as a book buddy mentor at Florine J. Abel Elementary. Because I love to read, I was asked to give a speech to the Manatee County School Board about the importance of school libraries. My love of reading made it possible for me to share my thoughts with my community and people in power. I am so grateful that this new library, the Martin Dr. Luther King Jr. Children's Library, will inspire other readers like myself to love learning, to dream and speak through the power, truth to the power and love. My family and I will be donating a few books today to celebrate this occasion. I ask that you also join us in supporting the vision for the King Children's Library. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce some of our community people, community leaders. People that have a vision for us. I'd like them to rise as I introduce them. Oh, and elected officials. Sorry. I'd like them to rise as I introduce them. And if you could give us 3 to 5 minutes, if you could, on a community vision for us in the Palmetto Manatee County community. First is Mrs. Dr. Diana Green, Manatee County School Superintendent.
Good morning. I really didn't want to come after Evelyn. You know, cute kids, you never want to come after them because anything you say pales in comparison. But thank you, Evelyn, for sharing your great speech. Ms. Harvey talked about that this area could be known as a book desert. And if that is true, then the Gayle STEM Center is known as the oasis in the desert. This literacy center will be an oasis for our students to come and gain those necessary skills. If Dr. Martin Luther King was alive today, I believe he would say literacy is the new civil rights. Without literacy, our children do not have the foundation for the beginning of knowledge. And as Pastor Holly said, without knowledge, our people perish. Today, when children come to the school district and they are children of poverty, more than likely there is a 30 million word gap between children who are not in poverty. 30 million words. It is amazing that children of poverty do not have at least 2 books in their home. We all grew up with our parents reading to us as The young man said, see Jeff run. I remember it was see Sally run. See, I grew up with books everywhere, and my parents, before I went to bed, read to me. Today, we are living in a world where children are not being read to. And the Gayle STEM Center is one piece of the puzzle to bring us together as a community and decide that education is paramount. My vision for this community is that we're going to have a 90% graduation rate, and that there will be no gap between Caucasian, African American, Hispanic students, that they will all have that right, that civil right of literacy. But we can't do it alone as a school district. We must connect. We must work together as a community and make this a priority. And so, my husband is standing in the back, and I believe he will stand with me. James and Diana Green, we are going to pledge $100 worth of books to the Annie Gayle STEM Center. Who will join us? As superintendent, it is my job to ensure that we provide a high-quality education to all students. But as a member of this community, it is also my job to step up and be a role model for our communities across this great county, Manatee County. So please join me. You don't have to make a $100 contribution, but please make a contribution so that these library shelves will never be empty, that these shelves will be full of books that children can realize not only themselves, but their potential that they can be. So that they can read books about Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, that they can read books that were written by Hispanic authors, that they can see themselves and that they can be proud of themselves, of who they are, and love themselves, and then be ready to step up and be a contributing member of this community. Thank you.
I'd like to ask all of our elected officials to come forward, please. I think I saw Mr. Smith out there. Yeah, Mr. Smith usually donates too. I think he donated last year, didn't he, Ms. Harvey? Yeah. Please, Mr. Smith, would you come forward? You've been a big supporter for I don't know how long. If you could just say a few words and followed by Mr. Colon,
Okay. Well,
school board. Thank you.
well, thank you. I'm so nervous. Thank you so much. We're just honored and privileged to be here. Leadership. I was under the weather a little bit, not sick. Had some issues, had to go to the hospital, to be honest with you. But I couldn't miss this event because it's all about the children. 3 minutes on that I never knew. I never knew I would serve on the national board of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC. I never knew I would personally know Dr. Bernice King. I never knew I would serve with Martin Luther King Jr., the son. I never knew I would understand and learn to know Dr. C.T. Vivian, co-founder of SCLC. I never knew that I would meet 5 Harvard-educated ministers serving on that board. I never knew I would be the first black city councilman in the history of the city of Palmetto. I never knew I would become the first black mayor to serve on the board of county commission. I never knew the faith that you had in me. I never knew the love that you had for me. I never knew the wisdom and guidance that you gave me. I never knew the joy and everything that these children have given me all my life. I never knew that everything they have done as children and continue to do in the future, that there would be the guidance of obedience to God. That once we continue to know that we never knew who we were, I never knew that I'll be standing here before you this morning. I never knew the love that I would have for Dr. Barbara Harvey. I never knew that the love I would have for Elder Livingston. I never knew the love I would have for Dr. Holly. But one thing we do know, that love is the key to all things that we do. The joy of these children. Martin Luther King Jr. is proud what's taking place here today. The leadership of the word I never knew. The understanding that I never knew. And of course, I will match the offer of $100 to this wonderful organization. 100 on behalf of County Commissioner Charles Smith and the other on behalf of my brother, Harold Smith. So that's $200 to this wonderful event. Thank you.
Well, I hate to follow my fraternity brother, Charles, but I've worked with with Barbara Harvey for many years, as she was one of our chairs at the United Negro College Scholarship Fund. I think that this is very important for Palmetto in particular, because libraries go in conjunction with educational institutions. They are the centers and the hubs of any good, growing, vibrant community. I got my first library card when I was 4 years old. And I thank God that my parents read to me almost every single night. And we were not rich. But they made that a priority. Because education is the key. Without education, without literacy, you cannot get a job. You cannot be gainfully employed. You cannot read a book. You cannot read technical manuals. You cannot read a newspaper and know what's going on in your own community. And this is key. Now I'll be short because I've already had these eloquent people ahead of me, especially Dr. Green, despite the fact that her husband did forget his checkbook.
I got one in the car.
Oh, I know you do. And you have the real checkbook. Because like my wife keeps the checkbook. However, I will match, of course, the $100 to this great organization. And I will also bring boxes of books that I will get from other organizations and bring them down here in addition to the $100 in cash, because you need the money, but you also need books to go along with the money. And I'll make sure that I contribute as many as I can. And I will also ask my organization that I do have a gainfully employed job with at Wells Fargo to match that as well. So thank you very much and good luck. Thank you all.
Good morning. I am not Wingate Newton. My name is Charles Martin. I'm the district secretary for Representative Newton. We represent District 70 out of Sarasota, Manatee County, Pinellas, and Hillsborough. Wish he could be here, but he is up in Pinellas. They are running him like they're running me down here. But one thing that he definitely always talks about is the children. If any of you know his story, he grew up single mother home, 7 brothers and sisters, and after school jobs, working, reading books, that got him through, and now he's a state representative. Me as well. 2 of my parents are school teachers. They are through the system. I loved reading as a kid, and as you can see, it got me to where I am today working for a state representative. I will match personally $100 with Dr. Green to support this great work. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I believe in this. I believe in you, Ms. Harvey, and I believe that we can do great works to help the kids. Thank you.
I want to thank our elected officials, and we got election year this year, so for those that are up,
My election's not partisan.
let's be aware of that. Martin was all about the vote now. Come on. Okay. Next, we would like to go to our other community leaders. And unfortunately, time, I shouldn't have let the politicians go first. Time has gotten away from us a little bit, so we're going to ask the folks that are following to please briefly give a vision for our community or some word of knowledge, or just let us hear something from you on this occasion. First, I'd like to call the Manatee County Literacy Coordinator, Mrs. Jody Williams. She will be followed by Mr. Kevin Beach, who is the Operations Manager, Manatee County Library. Thank you.
Good morning. As he said, my name is Jody Williams, and I'm the Literacy Coordinator for Manatee County Libraries. I began my work with the libraries about a year and a half ago, when the Library Foundation of Manatee County understood that we needed a community outreach position. Now, while the library has a long-standing history of providing literacy services, adding my position has allowed us to play an active role in the Suncoast campaign for grade level reading, where I go to elementary schools for literacy nights, and I teach Mind in the Making cohorts, and was able to represent the library at the Campaign for Grade Level Reading Conference in Denver. More? Thank you. This project at the Anna Gayle Center began when Barbara Harvey called the Manatee Libraries on a Wednesday in November. And understandably, she was calling for Ava Eady and Kevin Beach, but she got me instead. She was looking for help in writing and hopefully facilitating the MLK grant, which was due in 5 days. When she called back with the good news that we had received the grant, she asked if the library had any old shelves that we could donate. The grant provided for the books and electronic resources, educational toys, and computers. Well, having already seen the rooms that were going to be used for the children's library, I knew that she needed a lot more than books. So my response to her was, I think we can do better than that. And sure enough, as soon as the Library Foundation heard of the need, they donated money that provided for all of the furnishings and decor that you'll see inside. Mrs. Harvey worked with several organizations to get all the books, and Pat Johnson picked all the preschool toys, and Mrs. Harvey graciously allowed me to choose all of the electronic resources and design the rooms. It was like a dream come true. So last week was a whirlwind. The rooms were completely bare on Monday morning, and without the countless hours from Whole Child Manatee and the staff at the Anna Gayle Center, would not have come together as it did. So, in fact, working with the group has been so fantastic that Barbara Harvey and I are planning other programs and resources for this neighborhood. We're hoping to start with Primetime Reading Program, which shares the love of reading and learning with families, and we've got more things up our sleeves after that. So I hope you enjoy your tour of the new Martin Luther King Jr. Library. It has been an honor to bring it to you. So I just asked if I could introduce Kevin Beach. Along with Kevin's illustrious career of 40 years in the Manatee County Libraries, I think you'd find it very interesting to know that he comes from a family of librarians. And his father's library career includes helping to integrate public libraries in Georgia and also serving as the state librarian in Florida. So.
Thank you very much for the privilege today of saying a few words at this event. It is a way for me to honor my father, who, as Jody said, was a librarian before me, but during very turbulent times in Alabama back in the 60s. For integrating the library system in Gadsden, we were regularly visited by the Klan, crosses burned on our family lawn, but my dad held firm. No longer did the black citizens have to stand at a back door and request books from the library's discard room from an alleyway. Very proud of him for that. Dr. King once visited my father at the library afterward to thank him for his efforts, and it was one of the proudest moments of his life. So through my dad and my young eyes at that time, I saw the inequities, and I learned how libraries are supposed to be equalizers that level the playing field, that information should be free, that it belongs to everyone without barriers, and it's one of the main reasons why I became a librarian in his stead. I began working in Manatee County Libraries in 1978, and from the beginning I've always had a keen desire to help those who couldn't read. It's one of the fundamentals of libraries to embrace community literacy, and it's always a cherished memory of every child to get that first library card and explore the world of reading. Our first partnership effort to improve community literacy was with the local Laubach Literacy Organization, who focused upon adult training at that time. Even back then, I can remember Barbara Harvey already being a force in nature and working to improve the schools in our community. Our library hosted tutoring sessions for new readers, and sometimes it was very tiring and frustrating work until one day one of my adult students came in with a poem that she had written for me, and that made everything worthwhile. So our services have since expanded to include foreign language speakers, collections, English instruction, and we had the first Spanish language book collection installed. A grant from WEDU Channel 3 in Tampa helped us to establish what's called the New Reader Collection that has led many adults and ESL students to success and jobs in school, and it continues until this day. So therefore, speaking for all the librarians in the county, we're very proud of this magnificent renovation, bringing that love of reading to yet another new generation. Congratulations to the creators and the renovators and to this community for its terrific volunteers and its concerned community members. And please remember to get a library card because it's your ticket to the future. God bless you all and the legacy of this work that links back to Dr. King and our pioneering predecessors. Thank you. This Friday is my last day at work after 40 years, and Glenda Lammers, who is on the dais next, is my replacement. So, welcome. Thank you.
Good morning. Everything that I wanted to say has been said, so I will say it in the way that I want to say it. Mr. McLeod actually said something earlier that was going to be sort of the focus of my my comments, and that was about literacy is not just for kindergarten kids or pre-K kids. It's for everyone, and reading books to children is a huge important step in getting to that point of literacy for everyone. So I just wanted to let you know that within Manatee County, we have the Palmetto Public Library. I think that it's a complementary addition to what's being done here. And with that, there are children's story times for 18-month-old children. I mean, it is all really, really, really very important to get that message out. The younger, the better. And so there are summer reading programs, and there are other types of programs that just entertain and provide learning opportunities. So those are the kinds of things that we, as a library system, can add to what is happening here. And the last thing I wanted to say is the library is in the process of getting what's called adaptive and assistive toys. They're toys that are used by children with autism or children with some other kind of learning limitations. And they will be available, I hope, here as well as the library they're to check out. They're for anybody to take advantage of that might need a little extra assistance with playing with things. And so I appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning to see the new Martin Luther King Children's Library, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Wonderful librarians. I always loved the librarians. They were the only ones in school when I was a little mischievous. They never, ever spanked me. No librarian ever had. They were just special people. The next community vision is held by Ms. Marlene Yanelli. She is the Early Learning Coalition of Manatee County Grant Specialist.
Watch my step. Okay. Thank you for this opportunity to say a few words, and I will say only a few words. I'm Marlene Yanelli, and I'm with the Early Learning Coalition of Manatee County. ECCI wrote a grant. I wrote a grant as well, and we partnered through my grant. And as you know, the Early Learning Coalition's mission, part of our mission is to promote early literacy and to place as many books in the hands of children as possible. So I just want to thank Ms. Harvey for being my partner, and to let you all know that with the grant funds that we secured, about 1,000 books for the library. And ELC will continue to secure as many books as possible. My husband said to be sure to say that we will join the pledge. And my final word is congratulations to the people of this community to have this wonderful Dr. Martin Luther King Children's Library.
Thank you, Ms. Yanelli, for all you've done. My next guest is someone I've known pretty much all my life. I used to be his paper boy, and I always thought he was nice. Every Christmas, he gave a little something in an envelope for us. I thought that was very nice because it was rare that we got something. But Elder Lawrence Livingston, pastor of Eternity Temple Church, we invite you forward to say a few words about your community vision. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. What a joy it is to be here. Actually, this is the second library that I've been a part of coming into this community. The first one was at the Head Start Center on 2nd Avenue. I don't know what happened to that one, but it was open about 20 plus years ago because we always wanted books for our young people. I'm a Christian. I'm a husband, a father, a grandfather, and a great-grandfather. I have 8 churches in this district of the firstborn that I'm bishop of. I graduated from Lincoln High School. I graduated from Manatee Junior College as a registered nurse, 22 years ago. I received 2 certifications in the American Nurses Association as a registered nurse. I became the nurse manager at Manatee Memorial Hospital, 11 to 7 shift, and I worked there for 18 and a half years, and I retired at the age of 50. I'm the co-founder of Eternity Temple for the last 35 years, and I retired 2 years ago. And I was the president of Firstborn Seminary and Training School for 5 years, from 2000 to 2005. Simultaneously, I worked as the international missionary for that group of churches, over 130 churches, from Florida to New York. Being a world traveler, my wife and I traveled to Israel 6 times. We set up a church in Saudi Arabia where our daughter still is living. And I preached in Gulu, Uganda in 2012. Eternity Temple, although I'm not the pastor now, I'm one of the ministers there. We support churches in Embu, Kenya, and other churches in Kenya, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, East Africa, Lagoing, Haiti, and for Mendalan, Philippines. I always get that wrong. Pakistan and churches as well. We don't have to ship Bibles now because they have Bibles on apps that they can download in their languages. I can give you that information if you desire. We worked with 4 county commissioners for this community to develop the 88 acres. And last year it was approved for a beautiful park that is coming. Thanks to Commissioner Smith and Councilman Smith. Also last year, the swimming pools were approved for the Lincoln field. And we were a part of that with the Eternity Temple Washington Park CDC. Our president, Reverend MacArthur Sellers, Mr. Elihu Wallace, and other board members. We are glad today that the Lincoln Community Pool is going to be a part of this community because it's going to bring businesses. I have just a few points of my vision for this community. First, my spiritual vision, my academic vision, my economic vision, and my family recreation vision. The spiritual vision is to have stable families, strong multi-ethnic churches, Berean Bible Seminary placed in this community because we do need to have spiritual teachings. I visited a gentleman by the name of Greg Coker just Friday night, and the Kentucky prison system, through a grant from Bill and Melinda Gates, they're putting laptops in every prison hand in Kentucky. If they can do that for prisoners, why we can't do that for our community children? I asked Bright House, who is now Spectrum, for a hotspot in the Lake Park area. They did put a hotspot at Eternity Temple, 716 29th Street, but you cross the where the basketball court is and you can't even get it. We need what many communities have, that our young people can log in and get on the internet. Our academic desire is to have Wi-Fi, digital learning labs. They have to cross the street from my community to come here. I want one on that side, besides Tillman Elementary School, that'll be open for children after school hours. Also, neighborhood businesses. Since the swimming pools are coming, since the 88 acres are being built, we want to have businesses such as the community garden that you'll find at Eternity Temple. We want to have sports accommodations like we have the basketball court that Sheriff Stubbe built out of $30,000 of drug money on Eternity Temple property. We want to have bistros. We want to have shops, cafes, shoe shops. We want to have seamstresses that we two passed away. We don't have in this community now. Or have a tailor right here in our community along Highway 41. Finally, our family park recreation. The 88 acres Lincoln Pool is coming, and Mr. Charlie Huntsinker says that they're going to have artificial turf that they're going to put over on that field at Lincoln, and I saw at GT Bray. And I think we need to have the upgrades that we've been fighting for well over 30 years to come to this community. Finally, starting tomorrow night at 6 p.m., we're going to be at the fair under tent, similar to this, reading the Bible from Genesis 1:1 to Revelation 22:21, 84 hours without stopping. Feel free to come to our booth at the fair starting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor Livingston. It's just wonderful hearing the accomplishments of the speakers today. And I can tell you, all of the children here, this is very exciting because of all the places that people have said they've been, of all the accomplishments that they have achieved. The children here today are going to far eclipse that. Your lives are just going to be beyond anything that we probably can't even imagine. We have a great hope in the children that are here. The next speaker is Mr. Darrell Woody. Everybody knows Mr. Darrell Woody. Thank you, Mr. Woody.
Good afternoon. Is it this one? Good afternoon. I'm gonna tell a couple quick stories. Looks like I only have 5 minutes, and then that will be it for me. But one day in Washington, D.C., I just so happened to be there, and Barbara Harvey was in Washington. And she needed some tickets or to get closer to the stage to see Obama. And I talked to her for a little bit, and I said, I need to use your phone, because back then I had a Metro and you can't get no signal up there. So her daughter said, you gonna give him your phone? And Miss Harvey said, yes, I'm gonna give him my phone. So that was the first steps of trust. She said, I'm gonna give him my phone. However long he need, he can use my phone. So I disappeared for a while, and I came back. But I came back with the results that she was looking for. So we got her the tickets. She got closer to the stage. I ended up sitting on the roof, because I made the exchange with her. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to make a sacrifice. The next thing that happened to me is that I wanted to be like somebody, and we all want to be like somebody. Some of us want to be like Oprah, some want to be like Michael Jordan, some want to be like Obama. So I picked this one person that I wanted to be like, and it was Vern Buchanan. And the reason why I picked him is because he had 23 car dealerships. And I guess he had plenty of money. But I had a chance to meet with him, my first meeting with him. And I went into his office, and I only got 35 seconds. The reason why I got 35 seconds, because I wasn't ready. Somebody said he wasn't ready. I did not have enough information, nothing. I did not have nothing to leave, anything. Didn't have no packet or nothing. So I got so caught up in wanting to meet, see, and ask questions that I forgot everything that I needed to have. So I got booted out. So now it was the second round. When I came back, I was prepared. Because my goal this time was to get more than 35 seconds. So I got about an hour. I got my point across, and that's how I lifted myself into the car business, where I was actually running Sarasota Ford and Buchanan Jenkins as the community outreach manager on both of those stores. Now, I was done with the car business, and then there was an opportunity came up for me to work for Vern Buchanan. And now I know that I want to thank Charles Smith for what he said about me concerning getting me that job. And I also want to thank John Colon, because he referenced me as well. So I want to thank Charles, definitely Charles, I appreciate you, great job, and John Colon. And I was able to obtain a job with Vern Buchanan. Now, that was a very tough thing to do, okay? It was very tough, but I did it, and I always tell people I'm not a politician. You understand? I want to get paid, but I'm not a politician. So now, as I went on in life, I realized that for you young kids growing up, it is very important for you to register to vote at the age of 18, okay? If you don't register to vote, then you might as well sit down. If you can't vote, then your words will not be heard. So we got to make sure that we get everybody to vote. Okay, everybody needs to vote. And as far as my vision for the kids, we got to make sure when we are raising our kids that we as parents stay very close to them. Raise them the right way. Always know where they are. Don't just let your kid go here, go there, or whatever. Make sure you know where your kids are. Make sure, absolutely sure. So, anybody heard of SUV? SUV. So, the S stands for, as far as you young ones, up and coming, the S stands for success. Can I get a witness? The U stands for unstoppable. Can I get a witness? And the V stands for victory. Can I get a witness? So SUV, when you hear the words SUV, figure out success, U, unstoppable, V, victorious. Amen. How many people donated? One. What's the total? Anybody got a total? Quickly. 600. Okay, so we'll take it to 1,000. So we'll get the next 400. So we'll take it to 1,000, all right? Thank you and have a great day.
Good morning or afternoon. I just wanted to invite the community out, and particularly if you have middle or high school students, to attend the Think HBCU event that will be held at the 13th Avenue Dream Center on January 20th. It was developed, from our sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha in partnership with the 13th Avenue Dream Center to inspire our youth, the middle school and high school students, and give them a way, the keys to get to college. Many of our students have no idea how to do that. And so through this experience that we've created, we're hoping that they will have some of those tools to get to college. So again, it starts at 9, but registration will start at 8. We will serve a continental breakfast and lunch. There's lots of fun activities. And again, we'll have those workshops with FAMU attending. We have BCU, Bethune-Cookman College University, and University of South Florida will attend, Florida Memorial University, Tuskegee University, Grambling State University. And I got to give you one thing. Last year, Grambling actually had a student that came from Manatee High School. She had no plan. She didn't know what she was going to do or how to do it. She attended the workshop, and through that workshop, she was admitted into Grambling University in Louisiana, and she received a full ride scholarship. So through that event, we've had a success, so we're keeping it going. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and Tony will be available as well as other AKAs. Would you all stand, please, those who will be involved in this? The AKAs who are here to support us, they are here and will answer questions. So if you have a student who is, or you know of a student who is in maybe 10th, 11th, 12th grade, we really are focusing on seniors. They're going to talk about things like completing that financial aid form, or things that how to apply for scholarships. The money is out there. We want our children out of this community if necessary, going to college, then coming back and helping to enrich this community. Now, I want you to meet, and I know it's almost time, Doretha, I understand that. I want you to meet the people who have been actively involved. I've gone around with my cane and I've done very little, but these people have done the work. Jody, would you bring your team back up, please? Pat, and the staff of ECCI, just come up. They all have on green shirts, I think. They forgot to tell me to wear my green shirt. I did the best I could, though. I want you to meet them because they say that you cannot run a program of this nature or have this kind of impact without millions and millions Yes, that would be so nice. We could have a roof, and we really need a roof on this center. We could have a whole lot more, and we will get it. You will continue contributing. But we are going to use what we have to get what we want. Now, I'd like for you to meet these people because, listen, they are so special. I want to start with Jamita Roberts, who has a presentation to make, and then we'll go from there. Jamita, by the way, is going to be in charge of the library. You can give her a call at any time. I need to tell you that the library will be open Monday through Thursday, 2 to 4:30. Jamita will be here. We need volunteers. In addition to that, we are available for individual and very small groups. As you will see, we do have some space, but smaller groups, and we want to bring parents in to read with their children. Every child who comes in will take a book home. They can select a book. And by the way, today when you go in, you'll see books. We want everybody to leave with a book, and we'll have book bags for you too. But in addition to that, Jody did not mention it, and Pat did not mention it, but if you have a group of children in your church that you would like to expose to this kind of activity, Manatee County has or will have very soon an area that they can go to actually read. You want to give them an address maybe or something? And then Jamita is going to, Jamita come first, and then you'll give them an address for the large group activities.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning. My name is Jomita Roberts. And as Ms. Harvey stated, that I will be the coordinator for the library. So we're asking if you all, everybody, all the adults here, if you can volunteer, assist me so that we can get this, continue this project. But I would like to do a presentation at this time. And I would like Jody Williams and Pat Johnson, if you will come forward, please. On behalf of the ECCI staff, we would like to present these bouquets of flowers to you. Kim is not here, so I'm going to ask Kim, Jody, if she would get Kim's for her. We would like to present these flowers to these ladies for your untireless work, your kindness that you've shown, and we know that there's others behind the scene. We would like to say thank you. Many of days we would come into the center. Jody, Pat, and Kim would be working. Many of days taking only a 15-minute lunch hour so that they can unpack, assemble, and arrange the furniture in the library. We would like to say thank you, and today you will see the end results of the Martin Luther King Library here at the center. Again, I would like to say thanks to you ladies.
I want you to meet them individually because there are times that you'll come, and most people say, well, Miss Harvey, I didn't see you, and you won't, because remember, I am retired and I'm old. I'm very old. But I want you to know that, first of all, there's Brenda Freeman. Brenda, just step out. Brenda is our supervisor. She's the supervisor, and she can answer just about every question you might ask, but she always knows where I am. Always. So she can always find me. In addition to that, I see a board member back there. I don't know if you met Brenda Harvey. Brenda Harvey is a board member in the back. And I thought I saw Beverly Bryant was here just a minute or two ago. Where is she? Beverly, raise your hand. Another board member. Thank you. In addition to that, Mr. Wilson, who is actually Ms. Freeman's right hand, not left, but right hand, Mr. Wilson. Then Mandy Clark. Mandy Clark has been with us longer than any other staff member. When we started, Mandy started. And that was about 22 years ago, Miss Pratt? About 22 years ago. Mandy is inside. She's getting a little refreshment ready for us. You've met Jamita. Jamita comes to us. She didn't know when she retired that she would be working in her community. Jamita has her bachelor's degree, and she's been working here for 100 years. She's a native of Manatee County. Then Mrs. Douglas. Mrs. Douglas, I did not know her until but I've known Mrs. Douglas's mama forever. Most of you, would you please stand up? Just stand up. Most of you know her and you have seen her. This is Mrs. Douglas's mother. Now, Mrs. Douglas is going to be an RN. Am I supposed to say that? She is going to. She's in school and she's going to be an RN. I would like for her to be a teacher, but anyway, we'll go. And now, we have a young man. I'm not going to be able to say it. You say it. Darjay. Darjay, is that it? Darjay. Now, Darjay is a student, and he teaches our science and math. He is a student at where? New College. He's a senior at New College. And the Lord just sent him to us. We were looking for an upper level math teacher because some of our children are into calculus and all kinds of things, and we did not have a math teacher for that level. And he was just basically sent to us, working out perfectly. We are getting A's and B's in calculus. Yes! And that's our goal. He works well with them individually. Now, I don't know if there's anybody in this audience who does not know Linda Carnes. Linda is here. This is Miss Carnes. She's been with us for some time, and Linda is in charge of the language arts. When our children get ready to write a paper or do whatever, she's the one who tells them it's not going to work. You got to do it again. And it works. It's working. Linda has been with us, and we just pride ourselves on having not just strange tutors. Our tutors are academically sound, and with the exception of Darjay, they are in classrooms teaching during the day, and then they come to work with our children. They come to work with our children after the actual school day. So we're real proud. We have good results. Now, we can tell you that every one of our children, if they are actively involved, will graduate from high school, pursue a career, and marry before they parent a child. We have 100% success in that. Mandy Clark has been teaching teen pregnancy prevention. She has been trained by the state of Florida. She works directly with our children. They meet every week. It makes a difference. Our center is open for every Manatee County student. Any student can come here and be tutored. We focus, of course, on students who are just in this neighborhood, and most of our students do come, but we've had students from other places too. Dr. Green, did I do something wrong? Dr. Green tells me what I do right and wrong. Wait, Dr. Portsfield, from the college, yes. Come. I know you don't want to speak. They told me you didn't want to speak, but you can come up. The president of State College of Florida. How are you doing? So say a word. I know you don't want to speak. I know you don't want to talk. Okay, I was told that you don't want to say anything.
Well, everybody has heard so much, and we really just want to see your library.
You want to see the library? Oh dear. I don't think I'm missing anything. I really want you to know that you know the hours. We want parents to come in and read with and to their children. We also are focusing on a class that you're going to be working with. Is there anything else? I want to show you how to, we're going to open the tour. We're opening right here. If this first row would stand, that's an old school thing. Yes. Any preschool, elementary, or a middle high school student, they're welcome. Wait. Jeffrey Hogan, would you please stand? He's one of our sponsors, and I don't think his name was called earlier. Jeffrey Hogan.
That's it.
Now, what else are they? Now they said it's all right that we can go start the tour. If the first row would just stand, go right around this way, and there will be, where's Jamita? Yeah, Jamita will begin the tour.
Libraries go hand in hand with education. And without education, you can't get a job. You can't earn a living. You can't even read the newspapers so that you can be a gainfully employed citizen of our fine community. Palmetto has desperately needed this library for years, and this is one step forward that Barbara Harvey has brought here to her community, where she's done work for so many years. As a person who is responsible for all the scholarships at the United Negro College Fund, she worked hand in hand with me, and I applaud her in her efforts here in Palmetto. Without a place for kids to go after school, where they can get books that they can take home and read with their families, or that their families who can't afford to purchase books can get them here and take them for their mothers to read to them at night. This is a perfect opportunity to help these kids and jumpstart their education into pre-K and kindergarten. Because we know that minority youth start with less of a vocabulary than their white counterparts, and even sometimes their Hispanic counterparts, believe it or not. It's really, really critical to have them have access to books.
Well, it means a great deal to the school district. The school district cannot work in isolation in its own silo. We have to connect with nonprofit organizations, community organizations, to ensure that every student that is a student of the school district of Manatee County has an opportunity to be successful, that they have an opportunity to be literate and open the gateway to any possibility that they desire. So by opening this library, it is just one more connection that we are making to ensure that our students have resources, whether they are on our campuses or in their own communities. Education is the key. It's the gateway to every society being a prosperous and successful society. And for this community to show this type of support, they've decided that education is a priority and they want their community to be successful. I would say we need to all decide to come together to support our children, no matter what the zip code is, because if we do not, we are putting our community at risk of being unsuccessful for having children not realize their potential. And when our children don't realize their potential, then our community doesn't realize its ultimate potential.
Well, if you look at the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, he loved children's, he loved libraries, he loved education, and the opportunity what we have here today is something that we really need for this community. This area right here is an urban development area that needs a lot of improvements, and when you have the Dr. Martin Luther King Library being put in the middle of this community, it's going to change lives from that standpoint. I mean, you have people from all walks of life here, young, old, a lot of diversity here, over 100 people that sit out here in the weather and it's pretty cold, working in unity for the same mission. And we can teach a child how to read, how to learn at a young age. They can be more influential in their life and get a good, decent job. They also can learn trade, because the most important thing you have is the opportunity to read as a young man or a young woman. And these things here are very important to this community. I met a person one time, he was wealthy, but he couldn't read. And I asked him this question here. He said, I would give up every dime I have because I don't know how to read. So yeah, I became a millionaire. He said, but when I go different places, I have to pay people to take me to the airport, to go with me and travel because I can't read the signage. And they have taken advantage of my money. And today I'm broke and penniless. So reading is very important for our community. You can be anything that you want to be. I don't care what your background is or what you went through. If I can do it, you can do it. And the things that are important to children today are the things that are important for the next generation. Certainly you're going to have obstacles in your life, but the goals are always the same. Don't allow nobody to steal your dreams. Allow people to understand that you're going to be what you need to be and what you want to be. And also get away from negative people. We need to encourage people to be successful, encourage people that it's going to be falls, downs in your life, but in the end of the day, you're still someone, and we all love you. And you just put your shoulders together, walk forward, and keep doing what you're doing. Well, as you know, we're moving forward with our addition to the Lincoln Field. We're going to have a swimming pool coming out there right around the corner, about a brand new $1 million AstroTurf football field. What that's going to do is bring economic development. It's going to bring businesses in walking distance on 17th Street East. It's going to also empower people to do good things in this community. As we move forward in 2018, you will see a big drastic change to the different things that we have in the community. I'm so excited about what we got going in the community. The 88 acres is a home run situation that's going to take place. We're going to move forward and do some wonderful things also further down in the generations to come. Work in unity. You are somebody, no matter what your background may be, or where you fail. You might have failed from grace. You might have been something 2 or 3 years ago that you didn't feel good about. But we deal with people what they are today, because God really can change you. He can change your heart. He can make you be anything that you want in your life. You may be homeless today, but through God, you can be a millionaire tomorrow.
Coming through Lincoln High School with all those great teachers and instructors and principals, Mr. Bivens was in my church at St. Stephen African Episcopal Church, and he asked the pastor one day to put him on my youth board. And so he was my mentor for many years. He joined me also at Palmetto Youth Center when I was bookkeeper there. And so education has always been important to me. And that's why we're trying to inspire young people and the businesses to come and undergrade things that have been missing in this community so long. My introduction to reading, we didn't have books back in Greenville in my father's log cabin, but my mother used to go out and work, and she would bring newspapers home, and she would plaster the walls with homemade plaster with the newspapers. And that's how I learned to read, reading from the walls. And I read so well that when I went to school with my brothers and sister, get out of her hair for some hours, I would answer the questions to the teacher, and sometimes the students wouldn't know the answer. And so she sent a note home to my mother to enroll me, and I was enrolled in first grade at 5 years old. Well, Martin Luther King Jr. Day also has been very inspiring. I was at Manchester Junior College at his death, and it saddened me that a man that forward-looking could not carry on his mission. So we're here to carry on his mission. A couple of years ago at St. Paul Church on Martin Luther King, they gave me a pendulum to be honored as Dr. Martin Luther King for that day. And I have it in my bedroom, and I look at it when I go and wake up in the morning. So I'm inspired by the work of Dr. King because of many things that he has encouraged me to learn and to do, and to reach out to people who need to be reached, and teach those who need to be taught, and bring those who need to be brought to an education level. As my grandson, I have to mention Jonathan, my grandson, he has a over $100,000 scholarship from Virginia State as an honor student, and this last year he was the highest graded honor student on campus.
Well, all the events that we have as part of the MLK Day of Service are important, but this one here is particularly passionate to me about opening a library. As you know, the State College of Florida has been working for 10 years to get the legislature to fund a library and to understand the importance of having a culture of learning amongst learners in a library. And this is just another example of being able to bring books, to bring knowledge, to bring that culture into a community. So for me, it's a passionate thing, and I just couldn't be happier about being here today. Well, to see this kind of turn out on a cold day, on any day actually, is just wonderful. And watching everybody respond to different speeches that were made, and then the wonderful philanthropy that came out of it, with people contributing to just make this library even better. If you've had an opportunity to go through, and other people who have been through, you see what an incredible job has been done, and we can do more. And people in the audience understand that, and they want to do more. Well, reading is the key to the future. It's really the key to everything. Being able to read will make a child more successful in school. It will make them more successful in life. It will open up the options. It will allow them to go places in their mind that they never will ever be able to go in reality. And so it can't be emphasized enough. It really is the key for everything that will follow for the rest of their lives. Well, when Martin Luther King Day was originally founded, it was a day on, not a day off, a day of service. And to see this as bringing back what this day is supposed to be about, communities reaching out and supporting members in their community all across Manatee and Sarasota County, Pinellas County. I think this project now has expanded to several different places in Florida. And just being able to bring something back to what it really means is heartwarming.
Well, it's a wonderful experience to be able to see that our kids in the neighborhood will have reading materials. I was born in this community, and I never had this experience, so I'm so happy to make little children readers. We do know that reading maketh the full man, and I recommend that this continues, that the community supports the opportunity to be able to give children to the future generation to make Palmetto one of the best reading communities in the United States, Manatee County, and Florida. Thanks again to all of the people, and especially Mrs. Barbara Harvey, and also for the contribution that was given through the Martin Luther King activity today. Well, it's the beginning of a pace of reading that's going to make them lifelong learners and enrich their careers. If you read a book, you can go anywhere in the United States and experience that particular company, that particular event, or that particular country.
My name is Jomita Roberts, and I am the library coordinator for the Martin Luther King Library here at ECCI. And it is important to me that we have this library because reading is our future. Without reading, a child will just fail because we need reading in every subject: English, math, social studies. Reading is fundamental. The reading at the grade level, we need to start from zero, from birth. Many parents read to their children even during pregnancy. And if we start out early, the child will get that into their system, that reading is very important. If a child sees a parent read, then they're more likely to start reading. So we are open here at the Annie Gayle Center Monday through Thursday from 2 to 4. The library will be open and parents can come in our preschool area and our and elementary area and pick out books, and they can sit here and read to their child, and also the child will be able to take that book home with them. In our secondary area, which is middle and high school, the students will be able to go back and pick out a book as well and take that book home.
I am overwhelmed with admiration, joy, and expectation from the community because, as I told Mrs. Barbara Harvey, this is a historical event, and it's going to go down in history that Palmetto was able to establish a homegrown library for children who are our posterity, and we will look forward to the community participating and supporting it. Come, come, come. Take a book, read to your child every day, and you'll be surprised at how much intelligence and admiration you're going to give to them. Thank you.
First off, I want to thank the committee that asked me to come and say a speech for the kids. It's just important that as we continue to live, we have to continue to do better. What better way to start off the year with a children's library? As far as in the black community here in Manatee County, I think this will be a first, and I'm just very excited. Whoever came up with the idea, it's just a great idea. You know, we have to start out with the smaller kids, and we have to, as they grow older, you know, we have to continue to have things for them to do. So this will help all the kids all the way up until probably 18 years old, 17, 18. Help them learn. They can read, they can write, they can do whatever. They can take books home and bring the books back. So it's just a great honor just to see this happening. I was shocked when I got the call that they would be opening a Martin Luther King Jr. children's library. I was speechless at the moment because I was trying to figure out, was that what I really heard? And Barbara Harvey explained everything to me, and that's what it was, and that's why I'm here today. And you know, one of my mottos is, I don't dream, I wake up. So this is a big wake-up call. My message would be that, for number one, that we continue to work together. And I'm just not talking about blacks. I'm talking about everybody as we continue to work together, make better relationships, you know, and just be successful. You know, let's just partner and work together, and we'll see great things like this happen. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm sure there were people that donated or were a part of this. You know, it's not just a black thing. You know what I'm saying? It's for everybody, you know. It's not just, you know, people talking about races. There's only one race, and that's the human race. And that's my message.
You do know that research has told us that if a child has books at home, he's more likely to not only read, but to succeed. Unfortunately, many of our children only see a book when they're in school, because they're not there. And as a result of it, our children enter school, unfortunately, way behind many of the others. If they start off at the bottom, quite often they'll end up there. And we're going to avoid that. It's not going to happen. The children are going to come in here and they're going to read. And every time they read a book, every time they come, they'll take a book home to read and reread. We are encouraging parents, bring those children in, read to them, take the book home, and let that child read to you. That's why it's important. It's important for our individuals in this community to know that their children, our children, all children can succeed. We have everything that you need, but not only that, they can volunteer to come in and read with and to our children. Those volunteers will make a difference. They will help to model the kind of activities that our children need to be involved in. They also are going to help to become role models that can be involved at another level, a higher level. See, our children are going to graduate from high school, pursue a career, and marry, then come back to this community to help build us up. It works. Our goal here is that these children will come, just as you can see, select a book, and decide, oh, I'm going to take this book home. That book belongs to that child. Our preschoolers, we want mothers, bring those babies in, read to them, because even prenatal, do you know that research tells them that if you read to a child before he's born, he's more likely to be a reader when he grows up. We have more than 1,000 books available, much more than we would have normally in any home. Your child can actually see the book of interest. You can read that book to your child. Then your child can take that book home. Every child needs that kind of exposure. Yes, we have a public library in our community. It's about 2 miles away, maybe a little more. Many of these children will not get there, but they will get here because they can walk. We're within walking distance, and we want them here. We have a supervisor who will work with them, but we need parents. No child, no preschooler can come here alone, of course. And we ask that parents accompany their children. It's real important. Parents spend time with their children and get the books that they need for that. They can, first of all, volunteer. They can donate funding. We need a roof. There's a lot that we need. We started off small. We have an area there that we'd like to actually close in to expand our library. We want parents, we want any community person who's interested to please come volunteer, read to children. Martin Luther King stood for equality, education, and for service to all mankind. We know that this library is going to help in that quest. I did get a chance to meet Dr. King too, and I just want to throw that in. And even then, we knew that he would be the person that he was. Thank you. It makes me feel so certain that our future is in great hands. These young people will make the difference. Every one of them will graduate from high school. Every one of them will pursue a career, and every one of them will come back to Manatee County and make a real difference in our county. They're going to build our neighborhood up, and we all will be very proud. Today, they are doing well in school. They're doing well in their communities. They're doing well in their churches and other community activities. We're proud. Thank you.